PopPop. So let me get a little better squared away here. So, I just got done watching Canadian Prepper. He's got a very excellent video this morning. Out of stock Geiger counters. Okay. So I've been following the availability of Geiger counters. It seems like they're being snapped up, and some of them are unavailable. So Amazon had one that was $55, and it had a real Geiger molar tube. And that's what you want. You want your Geiger counter to have a real Geiger molar tube. You want it to have a dosimeter feature, which tells you how much you've been exposed to, how much of the bzzz you've been exposed to. And of course, on this format, there are certain words you can't say. So just keep that in mind. So for radiation, we'll just have to use the buzz, the bzzz. So you want a Geiger counter that's got a real Geiger molar tube. You want to get one that's got a dosimeter feature, which will give you an estimate of how much bzzz you've been exposed to. Because if it doesn't have a Geiger molar tube in it, it's just a EMR meter, which electromagnetism. I'm not going to use the R word because I don't want to get put in timeout again. The YT thought police have been real schizophrenic because I got put in timeout, and I woke up. All of my cell phones were disconnected. All of my TV sets, everything was disconnected. Couldn't get through to my bank. Couldn't get through to PayPal. So when they push the button, they're really letting you know. They're really letting you know that Big Brother is keeping an eye on you. And then when it did come back up, it's schizophrenic. It says, congratulations, one of your videos got 23,000 likes. Okay. So if I got so many likes on a video, why did you cut my channel off? And please, fam, don't forget to help PopPop out with the like and subscribe, because to me it doesn't make any sense. I got thousands of people watch my videos, but then I'll get 4 or 5 likes, and then that allows the YT thought police to pick on my channel. I mean, you have the other guy who makes mukbang videos, and he made a whole video saying the N word. The whole video was him saying the N word, and he smears food all over his body, and he's constantly leaving his husband and going back to his husband, and he'll get like 27,000 views. That to me makes no sense at all. You know, he shows you the t-shirts in his closet, and you know, does this routine, and everybody's like, wow, that's entertainment. You know, wow. Wastes all of this food, and you know, during his mukbang channel, there's all this sexual innuendo and stuff that would never fly on another channel, but he's got the subs, and he's got the views, and he's monetized. There's no way you can tell me it's anything to do with fairness, because he gets away with the most vile stuff on his channel, and nobody ever bothers him, you know. But little old me, the other day, and they never told me what I did. I must have coughed the wrong way or something, and my channel got cut off. And to me, that's a big deal, because being bedridden, if I can't use the web, you know, to get to the doctor on the internet, or if I can't get to my bank or PayPal, that's a very big deal. So, but that being said, there's all sorts of stuff going on in the world, and the puzzle pieces are getting put together. You have the politicians on the Hill, and half of them, no guessing which half, were given satellite phones for continuity of government, you know, and the other half were left out in the cold. So that tells you that we're a single party government. And I personally do not plan on voting in 2024. It'll be the first time that I haven't voted going all the way back to Richard Nixon in the 70s. I won't be voting because it's not going to make any difference. And the only thing it's going to do is they're going to take whoever voted the wrong way and put those people on a watch list. And I don't need any more hassle than I already have. So I don't plan on voting. You know, there's so much going on. The politicians being given satellite phones so they can stay in touch if something you know, critical happens. I forget what word they used, you know, but in any case, they're giving these phones for continuity of government, because as we all know, they're doing such a good job of running this country right down into the dirt. You know, I never thought that I would see things the way they are now. And all of these governments and leaders, they all have a body double. I mean, you saw Hillary collapse at the World Trade Center that day, and they had to literally grab her up and put her into a van. And then 5 minutes later, they showed her on TV, you know, 6 inches taller, 25 pounds heavier, and she was fine and dandy, and she's been fine and dandy. And then you saw Joe fall off of his bike, And lo and behold, the next video of him on the bike, he's riding around on a bike 30 miles an hour, 80-year-old man riding along at 30 miles an hour. And you look at the legs are very athletic, like somebody who's run a marathon. And he doesn't have the wispy old man hair on the back of his neck. The back of his neck, if you zoom in on the video, is white hair, but it's trimmed square in the back, and there's plenty of hair. And you're gonna tell me that's the same man? I don't think so. That's what I like about having a ultra high def TV, where you can stop the action and zoom in on it and really check things out. And my generation is the show me generation anyway. We're skeptical, like somebody back in the day would try and slander our president and try and make people believe that a porn star that's had more ding dongs in her mouth than a Hostess cupcake factory is going to have kissed on this man who's a germaphobe, who won't even drink out of an open glass of water. Whenever you see him at a meeting and they got open glasses of water, you notice he's still drinking bottled water. And when he goes out to a restaurant, he doesn't order in advance. He takes whatever Big Macs are right off the shelf in order to keep people from spitting in his food. You know, he's very attentive to all that. So you have the people on the Hill being given special phones. You know, you have Geiger counters now that are getting harder and harder to obtain, and they're getting more and more expensive. So you have to put the pieces of the puzzle together. You have politicians that are traveling, and unless there's some sort of comic book superhero, you know, they're in one place in the world, and then a half hour they're already in another country, in another place. Is that a superhero or is that a body double? You know? And people just eat this stuff up like a dog at the pan. You know how you get a 50-pound bag of dog food and the dog will come up to the bowl and the dog's like, wow, dog food. The same dog food that I had for 30 days, you know, and it and snarfs it down. That's the way the sheeple are for all of these media pundits, you know, and the one guy has been a consummate liar for over 50 years. So Canadian Prepper had a really good video this morning. It'll be above some people's heads because it's talking about tactical things, and he really put himself out there as far as what he mentioned. But I know it's right. It's straight from the heart. And he's a straight shooter. The sad thing is that he himself acknowledges that what's going on is biblical, you know, but he's an agnostic or atheist. Go figure. And the Bible is very accurate. The Bible said, you know, centuries ago, that in the latter days the Euphrates River would dry up so that the kings of the east could march down the Euphrates River, you know, to go to WAR. And WAR is heating up everywhere. And people are calling for Vladimir king of the bear country to be capped. And they don't understand that if somebody replaces him, very likely it'll be some bear general who's more interested in pushing the button than Vladimir is. Vlad has been very level-headed as far as holding off pushing the button. And all of the other people, even the Russian Orthodox Church, said that what the bear country was doing was righteous, because they say that the Iron Eagle country has become so decadent. And we're teaching our children all of this stuff, confusion, and we're teaching a 4 or 5 year old little child to doubt what they are. We're telling our teenagers that there is no God, and that there's no responsibility for your actions as long as you have an excuse. And then when they go out and they cap a whole bunch of people, we're supposed to be surprised. Like, how did this happen? You told these young people that they're an animal, and that there is no God, and that there is no rhyme or reason to life, and that there is no responsibility, and then they get depressed, and the video game that they're watching, gives them a bloodlust that can't be fulfilled. So they figure they have to go out and experience it in real time, and then on top of everything, you have Mr. Joe, who said he was going to bring this country together, and he's doing the best he can to make everybody angry at a 70 million person sector of the country. And he with everything going on and us being right on the brink of WW3, he makes a college address, and he says that white privilege is white supremacy is the biggest threat to America. And then, wouldn't you know it, right on time, here comes a platoon of men, and they're all dressed exactly the same. They all have exactly the same boots, exactly the same pants, exactly the same face mask. Now, you can't tell me that wasn't staged. If you watch Antifa or BLM, those people have all sorts of scarves and hats pulled over their face. They don't all have matching, equipment. And then you have this guy, this Middle Eastern man, who is supposed to be a white supremacist somehow. And he rents a U-Haul van and bumps it very slowly into a barrier, next to the WH. And then he gets arrested. He's shouting all of these alliteratives a block from the WH. And the van is totally empty except for a flag, representing the bad guys. What a coinky dink. And we're supposed to believe that. We're supposed to believe that wasn't staged. And the leader of the Proud Boys, another white supremacist group, is locked up without any representation, and he's not white. So it's all clown world. It's all clown world, and it's whatever fits the narrative. And that's why, like I said, this time I'm not going to be voting because I don't want somebody knocking on my door, from Uncle Joe's 90,000 new representatives that are equipped, equipped with bang bangs, so that if you disagree with what they say, I mean, I don't understand why tax agents have to be given a GUN. That to me is kind of outlandish. But I guarantee you, fam, at some point, this administration is going to do home wellness checks. And that's where they knock on your door and they check to see if you have any GUNS. They're going to check to see if you have any food stash, because they say that having a pantry, makes you TEARIST. And fam, don't get on me about misspelling stuff. It's on purpose so that my video doesn't get gated. If you use the wrong words, your video gets gated and then it comes under closer scrutiny. So if I misspell something, it's on purpose. And even though I'm a better part of a century old, I am aware of it, But it's like everybody is ready to press the button. And, we're like right on the edge. And so, with regard to my preps, I wanted to show you one of my newest acquisitions. It's a Bofang ham radio, professional quality, user-friendly, has a digital signal processing system, long-range communication, noise reduction, battery saver. It has a scrambler, high capacity lithium ion battery, comes with an FM radio and a long standby time. Now, with regard to anything that's got a built-in lithium ion battery, they send it to you with the battery discharge. Hey Justin, how are you? It's getting down to the end of the month, and old PopPop been leaking like a Studebaker. So, but in any case, I got my Bofang ham radio. It's wrapped in aluminum foil so that if there's an EMP event, it won't fry. And they're relatively inexpensive. They're better than a CB radio by far. And you can't operate them legally if you don't have a ham operator's license, but you can listen in. And so it's very much like a police radio, got a built-in battery. They're like $26 on Amazon. And like I said, you can put it on standby so that you listen in to, emergency services using it. And it doesn't have all of the overtalk that CB radios have. I bought a CB radio and I returned it because it just had so much over talk and everything. But anything electronic that you want to use, you want to wrap it in aluminum foil to keep it from getting EMP'd. So if you missed me the other day and wondered why I was so late getting out a video, yeah, a UV5 or whatever, very popular radio, very cheap and very necessary. So the other day when I got put in timeout, I found something. I went to go on the internet and they had me in timeout. Nothing would work. So I figured, So I have a standby phone that's never been used, never been registered. And I called my USB provider and I asked to re-MAC it. You have what's called a MAC address. And it's assigned to the area where you're using your internet service. It's called a MAC address. So you call your USB provider and they can give you a temporary MAC address, until they find out what the problem is, whether you've been put in timeout or whether the internet is down or whatever. So I called up at the front desk and I asked them if their internet was down. They said no. Okay. So I know that the hotel still got an internet signal. All right. So what I do is I call the ISP and I ask them to re-MAC this phone that's never been registered. And then instead of using all of the stuff from the people that hurt me, I'm going to be roundabout because, like I said, I don't want to be whacked again. So I took this phone and I made everything on this phone Yahoo. So I signed into Yahoo and I made a Yahoo email. And see, when you go up to the G word input, it'll say, it said no internet connection or internet connection refused. So then all you do, you don't even have to go to the Play Store. You don't have to use anything from the G-Man. You go into that line up at the top and you type in yahoo.com. Then all of a sudden internet pops right back up and you got internet through Yahoo. So they lied to you. They tell you that you don't have any internet at all. You do. It's just that you're in timeout from the YT Thought Police and from the G-Man. So this phone has nothing to do with G at all. And I'm going to take another phone clone and make it into a Microsoft phone because I've learned my lesson to not have my eggs in the same basket when it comes to my internet service. So this phone stays turned off. And like I said, even though it's a brand new phone, I did a factory reset, scrubbed it, got a new MAC address, and boom, back in business, through Yahoo. So And the whole thing is so hypocritical because even though I'm locked out of my own channel for a while, they're still showing my videos and they're still putting a commercial on some of my videos, even though I never gave them permission and my channel isn't monetized because I don't want to have the responsibility tax wise. So I'm trying to be a gray man. A gray man is where you do whatever you can in order to be incognito as possible. But fam, all of this stuff is the trap is slowly closing and we're getting closer and closer to SHTF. And I want to cover stuff again. Your water, you don't need a Berkey. You don't need a Berkey water filter. You get a $7 Melita coffee filter kit. You get a $7 to $10 bag of activated charcoal. It's got to be activated food grade charcoal off of Amazon. So now you've spent less than $20. You take your tap water and you pour over that charcoal. So you have the paper media from the Melita filter. You have the charcoal. It's exactly what's inside most of these water filters. And you can filter a lot of water on the cheap. If the water's not too bad, you can actually put that used charcoal in a piece of Tupperware and put it in your refrigerator and reuse it for later. And then I take that water and I put it in a tea kettle and I boil the crap out of it. And that's the only way that I'll drink water now, is if it's been filtered and boiled. I either drink it as coffee, tea, or I let it cool down and then put it in the refrigerator and drink it as ice water or lemonade or tea. So I don't drink any unfiltered water. And if you buy bottled water, the law in most places is that bottled water only has to be 10% by content. So that means if you buy a name brand bottled water, you look at it and it'll say purified tap water or filtered water for the most part of what you're buying. You know, you have to think outside the box, fam. If you're growing vegetables in your house or in your apartment garden in pots and stuff, and you get a little bag of potting soil, well, that soil gets tired after a while and it has to be refertilized. And they sell this thing on the internet that's like $300 or $400, and you put your food waste in it and it makes potting soil for you. You don't even have to do that, fam. Get a $19 food processor, and when you cut your celery and shred your carrots, you know, to take all the nasty parts off, put all that in a food processor and grind the bejeepers out of it, and then dump that into a bag of potting soil, mix it all up, and you will have the darkest, blackest, richest soil for your plants on the cheap. So you've spent $19 instead of spending $300 or $400 for this new kitchen gadget, you know, that turns your kitchen garbage into potting soil. Now, this may sound crude, but any animal dung from an animal that does not eat meat makes good nutrients for soil. Now, you can't use dung from any animal that eats meat because it will poison the soil. So uh, these people who say they want to depopulate the lands from cattle and horses and stuff like that, they don't know that when those lands don't have an animal eating the grass and pooping out fertilizer, that all of those lands will turn to weeds and desert. It's just part of nature. It's a cycle of nature for an animal to eat the grass, poop out the fertilizer, and keep the cycle going. But these people, they're like, well, let's get rid of everything and extend the life of the planet. Absolutely the wrong thing to do. Next thing to do, since you're going to be, the grid is going to get more and more overloaded with all of these electrical vehicles and them taking power plants offline. You want to get a power inverter. They start at like $27 on Amazon, and you want to get at least 500 watts, and you want to get what's called a pure sine wave inverter. That's an inverter that makes a nice, smooth electrical wave, at 60 hertz for your delicate appliances like laptops and video monitors and stuff like that. Then you can get a 10-watt solar panel from Amazon, and you can get that for less than $30. They're like 27. And you want to make sure that if you buy a solar panel, that it's monocrystal. That's very important. You want to see that word mono in the description for the solar panel. And if you stay at 10 watts or less, I try and always get a 10 watt, 12 volt solar panel, because that way you don't have to buy the regulator. You can just hook it up to a battery on standby. And the battery, again, is less than $30 on Amazon. A 12 volt, 12 amp hour. There's a few different companies that make them. Weiss makes a good one. Pro Amp or something like that. They're wheelchair batteries. And so you want to get 12 volt, 12 amp, and you want to see the word rechargeable, and you want to make sure it says deep cycle. A deep cycle battery lets you draw it all the way down without destroying the mechanical parts of the battery. The media that holds the acid. And I try and stay with lead acid. If you get a charger, you have to be very careful when it says what type of battery it will charge, because lithium ion batteries are very fussy. And when you go to charge something lithium ion for the first time, you charge it up like halfway and you'll notice the device getting warmer and warmer. And I used to put the charger and my phone in the refrigerator until I found out that with these new refrigerators and the type of refrigerant and everything, that the refrigerator can explode violently. So I don't put my phone and charger in the refrigerator anymore to cool it off. If I charge my phone and it gets hot and it's not taking the charge, I just unplug it and let it cool down, let the charger cool down, and then I'll plug it into my solar battery charger. And I got this one off of Amazon, and it's really an excellent brand. And for some reason, it's a generic. It doesn't have a name on it. I got it off Amazon, and it was like $19, and it's really beefy. It's heavy. It'll run my USB fan, and it has a flashlight. It's got a solar charging panel, and it's got the UL label on it, but no marking or anything. But I guess you can look it up. when I buy something off Amazon, I always look for the best rated product, and then I filter it with the lowest price, and it'll come up. It'll say, instead of having 2,000 options, it'll say, well, now you got 50 or 60 things to choose from. But so what? 50 or 60 is still good. And I got this USB fan from Amazon, and it's called O-Polar or something. And it really puts out a lot of cold air. I mean, it puts out as much as a regular table fan, and it runs off a USB, and it'll run off of this for a good long time. Now, you have to be careful because these chargers are not all the same. And you have to look for the milliamp hour rating and get the highest milliamp hour rating that you possibly can. Because I had another one, I had to send it back. It would not run the fan. But this fan does a great job. And if you're not prepared for summer, you need to be really fast before all of the summer supplies are gone, because this summer is supposed to be one of the hottest summers on record, and they say it's very probable that the electrical grid is going to be overloaded and that they're going to have to do rolling blackouts even here in America. This is my mouth guard that you all got me very kindly, that keeps me from biting the ever-loving crap out of my tongue when I've had a seizure. And thank God it's been over a week since the last one. And I don't like to take the seizure medicine because it just makes me sleep all the time. And it makes it to the point where I can't even get up and take care of myself, And narcolepsy runs in my family anyway, so I don't want to do anything that's going to exacerbate that. But, fam, I try and be helpful with my channel. I'm sorry that I don't have puppies and clowns and kittens and balloons and real entertaining stuff. I do silly stuff every so often to keep my channel alive, and that's just the way it is, that you have to post something every day. I really can't stress, though, if you want to help PopPop out, to make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so that the YT police, the thought police, will leave me alone. And the word says that a watchman or a worker is worthy of his hire. So if you want to help out PopPop, like I said, I've been leaking like an old Studebaker lately. And there's some cheap things on my Amazon link that I could really use. Old people diapers and piddle pads and stuff like that. And I really appreciate it when y'all help me out. You know, sow a blessing, get a blessing, that kind of thing. But that's it for today. Like I said, fam, things are starting to heat up. You need to have a day off grid where you practice being off grid. You practice bathing yourself with only a gallon of water. You know, get yourself a dishpan and a washcloth, and you start out and you wash the cleanest part of yourself first down to the dirtiest, and use a bar of soap and a washcloth. The Amish have been doing it for years. Then you dump that little bit of water out, put in a little bit more fresh water, rinse your washcloth out, rinse off the soap, and you're good to go. One of the things that they talk about with children now, that they found out, is that children in school are being asked to rat on their parents as to whether their parents are wasting water or leaving the lights turned on or having the air conditioning turned down too low. And that's straight out of the Bible. It mentions in the Bible that family members will turn on each other someday. So we're already in that season of some stranger manipulating your child so they can have an excuse to come over to your house and do a wellness check. Like I said, you want to have two pantries. You want to have an operating pantry off your kitchen, and you want to have a hidden pantry. And what you do is you take a room in your house and you want to make it into a safe room. And there are plenty of safe room plans on the web. And you make it into a safe room. You have your defenses. You have food and water and your other pantry items in that safe room. You have medicine. You have your backup communication devices. All of that stuff, as much as you can pack in that room, and room for people to go into. And then what you do is you want to take the door off of that room. You want to pick a room that's like in the center part of the house, where if somebody comes in your house, it's not obvious that that part of the house shouldn't even have a room. A great place that makes a safe room is under a staircase. And you get the what is that military stuff that's lightweight, and you can tack it up on the wall, and it makes your room GUN proof. They sell it as curtains even, where you can get that stuff as curtains, so that if you live in the hood and somebody goes to cap you through the window, that it won't go any further than the curtains. I forget what that stuff is. Kevlar. Thank you. They sell Kevlar curtains. They sell Kevlar panels. It's very inexpensive. And so you take that room, you take the door off, and you put a mirror in the place of that door, or you put a bookshelf or something, or decorative brick or something over that opening, so that you can get into that room, and other people won't even realize it's there. Put a mag lock at the top. You take a magnet, you put it at the top, you open up your secret room, and then when you take the magnet away, when you shut the door, it's going to lock with one of those big, heavy. industrial magnets like restaurants use and all of that, for security. You have to have this stuff in mind and in place. And really, when high alert comes, and my understanding is that the US is on DEFCON 3. I don't even think that's true. I think we're on DEFCON 2. And they say that Europe is definitely on DEFCON 2, Defense Condition 2. But when you see the term high alert used all over the internet, you want to go to your bathtub and fill it up with water so that you'll have that 35 or 50 gallons of emergency water to flush your toilet or to purify for cooking and drinking and all. If you have small children, you want to be very careful having a full bathtub of water all the time. But if you don't have children, that's a good hack, is to keep that bathtub full. And then even if you don't use the water, you can add a little bit of hot water to that full bathtub. Go ahead and take your bath, drain it out, clean it, and refill it again to keep yourself prepared. Because I believe it's going to be just like the Bible. It says in 1 hour, calamity comes. And that's what I think is going to happen. The stuff is going to hit the fan in an hour. And if you're not ready, if you're down in mommy and daddy's basement playing video games, waiting for somebody to beg you to come to dinner, you're not going to be ready. You want to have yourself in good stead with the good Lord through Jesus Christ. You want to have your physical fitness. You want to have your preparedness items. And you want to have items that will keep you happy. A Bible, a book, something that you can read while the grid is down, board games for your kids. And all of you that are doing something, dabbling, where you shouldn't be, you're watching pornography, or you're dabbling in Ouija boards, or the occult, or witchcraft, or tarot cards, or these video games that are violent. Get all that stuff out of your house and out of your life. Don't give it to somebody else. Tear it up and put it in the trash so you don't infect somebody else, because the time is short. And if you get left behind for this tribulation period that is coming up, you're going to be butt hurt. In any case, I love you. I care about you. The good Lord loves you more. PopPop's out.